it's time to get into our last segment. Would you
Yes.
agree? Okay, good. Perfect. All right. Well, for
Logistics.
this last segment of the show, this is Everything is Logistics. I'm Blythe Milligan, Grace Sharkey here, presented by SPI Logistics. And this is Source-to-Porch. This is my favorite segment that we do because it gives us each a chance to kind of, pick out something, kind of keep our eye on something of what we want to feature maybe in the future. And I'll go first because I think mine is a little bit of a quicker one. I think yours is much more cool. Mine is just more on like the medical side of things because I'm going through, some dietary changes. I got some blood test results that were not looking very good. And so it's resulted in like several follow-up appointments in order to see how things are going. But it's also required a complete like dietary change. And so for the last, I would say since May, I've done a complete overhaul of my diet where it's like all anti-inflammatory and, flaxseed and, salmon and omegas. And I have,
doctor's got me on the omega train now too.
so many, I have a regiment now of different supplements that I take like morning, noon, and night. But I will say
adulthood is going one day taking no pills to the next day taking every pill you can think of.
I don't know how I'm going to manage this on like trips and stuff. I got, first trip that I'm taking next week, Epic Universe. I'm going to do a full little like logistics of a new theme park on our next episode that we record together. But I have these like little, I just bought like, they have like all the pill organizers, of course. I didn't want to take that because I've tried that before and it's just too massive and it's not full, it's not, it doesn't fit well in my travel regimen. So this time I just bought a bunch of like little mini plastic baggies. And so we're taking it back the old school dime route, where we're just going to shove all of our legal supplements into these little dime bags. And then we're going to be able to.
You're supposed to mix them with the illegal ones and put them in your pill thing.
Well, for the sake of this show. And the legalities around it to protect our sponsors too. We are only talking about the legal supplements here that I bought the little dime bags for in order to just make it easier on myself, like bandwidth wise. Like I don't want to be at a theme park and be like, hold on, I have to stop everything, go back to the hotel room, figure out what supplements I got to take, and then get back at it. So I'm just trying to make it as easy on myself as possible by just
in that locker all day, in and out of those lockers.
Exactly. So good news is that I just recently got my follow-up blood work done, and I hate to brag, but
brag.
I'm going to brag because there's several of these like key elements that have been quote unquote dramatically improved. And I'm freaking pumped about it. Because for folks who have never dealt with inflammation, like it's not something I have sort of prided myself on being the girl that can kind of eat everything and like still work out and like still feel like I'm fit. But once you hit a certain age, it don't work no more. And since starting this diet, it's been just absolutely like sometimes I went to a fantasy football draft recently and I had a beer and a half and 2 slices of pizza and my stomach was like, we're not playing this game no more. And that is devastating on one hand. But to get all of these blood tests back, or these results back, was like the logistics fee. And that's why I wanted to talk about this for my Source-to-Porch, because Quest Diagnostics is absolutely like the logistics process behind Quest is fascinating. They even have inside of their office, and I wish Twitter wasn't blocked right now because I would pull up the picture of it, but they in each of their offices where you get blood drawn, they talk about their full like logistics process. And it's really, really incredible because I went and got this blood test taken, got the blood drawn on Friday morning, and by Sunday night, Monday morning, the results were already in my account, which is the logistics behind that is an incredible feat. And so let me
University of Michigan Health, listen to this lady and fix your awful system.
Well, let's talk. So a few key highlights, because their carrier-based and drivers are just insane. So they have in-house drivers. So Quest Diagnostics directly hires medical transport specialists or quote unquote drivers. Their job postings indicate a large fleet with a publicly stated number of around 3,800 courier vehicles and 24 planes that serve over 80,000 courier stops daily. They also have external carriers, and then they also have additional benefits. They don't sort of publicly announce this, but they do, you can kind of read between the lines that they are kind of a broker too, because they're offering all of their logistics pickup and testing services to other clinics and other providers. So they're able to, they've kind of like a pharmaceutical Amazon, where they've built in, they have proprietary TMS platform, proprietary software. And so now that they've kind of honed in on that logistics process, now they're starting to sell a lot of those services out to these other clinics. And I thought it was pretty fascinating with some of these stats. Let me see if I can find a couple more, because they have unmatched scale. So they can process specimens from over 50 million patients a year and handle more than 10 million lab specimens annually. The savings for hospitals are around 20 to 30% through smart bulk procurement and equipment upgrades. Then they have specialized handling, of course. So for all of their drivers, you have to have a certain kind of cooler in your car. You have a certain, depending on even what you're carrying, what kind of results maybe it's not just blood, but it's like bodily fluids too. So you have to have all these like specialized carriers that keep it at a certain temperature. Another carrier that does a lot of medical transportation is Lorena Carmego from Pearl Trans. So she does a lot of that.
That's who I was just trying to find on LinkedIn. I couldn't remember her first name. Okay, there we go.
So shout out to Lorena. She's heavily involved with CLDA, which is Customized Logistics Delivery Association. I think I have that acronym right. But that's her bread and butter, is these kinds of routes.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a really cool, like sort of like the business impact of Quest is that their super efficient logistics network enables them to drive consistent revenue, with the 2024 revenue of Quest reaching around $9.3 billion. So I had no idea that they were that large. But when I got my blood test results that quick, I was expecting it to be like a couple week process. Yeah. But this was, Friday morning to Sunday night, I had my results.
Well, and imagine like her name's Lorena, right?
Yeah, Lorena.
I think what she helped me understand too about that type of logistics service is the intensity of the anonymous aspect of it. So like clearly, like you don't want these companies have to be very, very protective of your data, right? Clearly you don't want that information getting out. But even like I remember she was explaining kind of like deliver, because I think they're doing work for like what do you call it when you're not doing the baby yourself?
Oh, a surrogate.
You're right. So collecting like specimen, moving eggs and things like that. Like she was even explaining like a lot, like we have to reach out and see if people are comfortable with us coming to their homes, because a lot of these people might want to hide the fact that they are working on a surrogate. So you can't just like show up with your like van that says, your name. Like you have to be almost like really strategic on the just respect. That's like really the respectfulness behind that type of logistics and understanding like right, like how important it is and how awful it's going to be for someone like you if that stuff gets misdelivered or it gets into the wrong hands or becomes just the wrong specimen and you get your results back, and like understanding like not just the cybersecurity of it, but like the true health cost and even emotional cost that could potentially come with moving a lot of these type of products.
Yeah, because I think her company also like deceased bodies, organs, like these are all things that you have to have a high like care for whoever the end customer is. And it's just, you can't mess up with things like that. Totally. And there's no room for error, because that room for error is life and death.
Totally. Like,
or it can be.
Well, it's like, you lose. I mean, we talk about fraud and stuff all the time. Like, sure, you lose like a couple pallets of cereal here and there, but like losing my eggs, is
or a kidney or something like that. It's obviously,
there's not
different.
a priceless. So I just find that area of logistics so interesting, because not just because of the security of it, but just like the emotional and like human aspect of it as well is really intense.
Yeah. So that's my little logistics of Quest Diagnostics. So anytime you're getting your blood drawn in that facility, pay attention to some of the graphics that they have, because they're very proud of like their logistics process. So shout out to them for getting me my blood test results, and ultimately good news.
Yeah, I was gonna say great news too. I've been doing some fun doctor stuff that we can talk about off camera, but
it's stressful.
It really, honestly, it really is. And you know what? I'll just kind of touch on, for me personally, I'm kind of going through a diagnosis of something that's also at the same time not fully researched as well. So I'm basically working on, after my last results, highly likely PCOS, which for all, and I'm gonna say it wrong anyway, so I'm gonna Google it too. That's polycystic ovary syndrome, and it's something that a lot of women are just starting to get diagnosed with, because it's kind of hard to find it. And honestly, with the way that insurance and the medical system works, like it takes a lot to like get to the point where you do find it. And so yeah, it's hey, make this a health episode. We gotta, be, the older we get, the more we gotta spend time doing that stuff. And so, yeah.
And I think too, for a lot of like this testing, like I think it's so important to get it done at a younger age, because
Totally.
our food system, to go back to an earlier story, because our food system and our food supply chain is such crap, and they're putting so much crap in our food for God knows how long, at least since the early 90s, that they've been swapping, good ingredients for bad ingredients, and it's having a terrible effect on our bodies, our reproductive systems. For on my end of things, it was, a history of a colon cancer, and for folks under 40, colon cancer is the number one cancer that is affecting young people, or for folks that are under the age of 40. PCOS and complications around reproductive issues is also one of the driving factors that's affecting young population. And I have several friends that have been impacted by this. And then there's also I'm gonna butcher the name wrong, but you get it. It's one of those things where it's like, these blood test results, if you can get access to this information earlier, there's much more of an opportunity to make corrective action before it becomes a serious problem, before it becomes cancer. I mean, obviously you can't, this is not medical advice, we're not doctors, yada, yada, yada. But if you can catch some of these and correct them, and like inflammation for me, like it's basically like a layer of sludge on all of my organs, where theoretically I might feel healthy, but it's going to get to a level like it did to me over the summer, where you're completely debilitated. You cannot move, because your body is working so much harder than what it should be. And if you don't have blood test results, then doctors can't give you any kind of answer. And to bring you full circle, I cannot tell you how much ChatGPT has helped me through this entire process. Being able to take my blood test results, create a health plan, figure out what supplements I was buying that just sounded good, but I didn't really need, knowing what kind of supplements to buy, looking for the certification on different supplements to make sure they're legit, because they're not regulated by the FDA. So you have to do additional searching just to find out which supplements are going to actually impact you, avoiding things that have, ingredient labels like proprietary blends, where you don't know what you're putting in your body. And so being able to, it's been a huge learning curve, but I can tell the difference now, especially when I have a beer and a half and 2 slices of pizza, something I should be able, my whole life I've been able to eat no problem, probably triple that at times in one sitting. And now it's a problem. Like, that signals to me that like I can enjoy this stuff, but in moderation, but also having a greater understanding of where this stuff is coming from, what I'm putting in my body, and just trying to have a greater awareness around not just the food I'm putting in my body, but like the social platforms I'm engaging with. What am I putting in my brain? Like, what am I digesting that's good for my mental health too? And so trying to make a lot of changes, and so far so good. I'm on a little bit on the luckier side of things. So hopefully we've caught some of these things a little bit early, and it's not as serious as it was looking, a couple months ago.
Well, and let's be honest, it's going to be a really long Jag season this year.
Yeah.
And so
I got to be able to drink for
it. A lot of beer is going to be needed to be drunk. And so you guys thought you'd do something, you thought it was enough.
We are 1-0. So I don't know who you talking to, but we are currently undefeated.
Well, so are the Vikings. We almost lost to the Bears, but and I will say Michigan State is the #1 football school in the state of Michigan.
And I do kind of being in Florida, I will say that I do love sort of the resurgence of the Big Ten, because being an SEC country, like I'm an NFL fan first and foremost. Same. I've never understood I'm going to cheer for a rival school just because they're in I think that is, sorry to all the fans out there, but boo, like I don't like it. But I am a Louisville fan, so I guess I kind of have to pick my battles as far as like schools to support.
Hey, I'd rather you be a Louisville fan than a Kentucky fan,
Oh God, the Kentucky fans are I would never be a loser, outright loser. Oh,
you'd be a cheater and
yeah.
The list goes on and on,
Oh, well, speaking of cheating, yeah. I don't know if Louisville's any better. So
that's true. Oh, good old Kentucky. Hey, speaking of sports though, my source to wait, have you done? Yes, are you done?
Oh yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Enough about your health.
I'm kind of tired of talking about it too. It's consumed my life.
That's quite literally. So actually I got this idea for this off of a TikTok, and so I was like, love it. Actually, let's be honest, I don't have TikTok, so
I thought you downloaded TikTok. You have to for Orderful.
None of our customers are on it. What are we doing on there?
That's probably a lie, but okay.
No, I did. I looked it up. I did the research. If you need to see the report. The only person is like IBM Sterling, and that's because IBM's on there. But and IBM. But so listen, I love a good cocktail, and while I've never been to the US Open, the honeydew, right, is their signature cocktail. So we've all seen it. If we have friends, Rachel Premack, shout out to you, girl. I saw you made it to the US Open and got your little honeydews. If anyone honeydews? What? What'd you say?
I said, what is a honeydew? Is that a bad
question? You've never seen a honeydew?
Oh no, I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh my God, it's like you would love it. It's a perfect little drink.
Honeydew. Ugh, that is the worst fruit.
What? You're great. Honeydew is my favorite fruit.
What? I hate it when you buy the fruit bowls at the store and they shove it with cantaloupe and honeydew.
I love
no one wants that fruit.
No, I want it.
Give me the pineapple, the strawberries, the watermelon, like the good fruit.
Freeze, especially if you freeze honeydew. Oh my God. So for all those non-losers out there, if you don't know what the honeydew is, it is basically it's like a mojito in a way. It's Grey
Goose.
Looks
pretty.
Yeah, it's Grey Goose or Kirkland. Full circle. Lemonade. Is it like Chambord? It's a raspberry liquor in there.
Okay,
and then
Chambord.
And then they put 2 of the honey, and they use the honeydew melon because they look like tennis balls, right? Funny, clever.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
they're not doing it for taste, that's for sure.
They are doing. That's a perfect. That sounds like a great cocktail. I didn't know the Blythe would hate you so much. So I was like, okay, that's super cool. They've sold more than 3 million so far at the US Open. It's like the drink. We all love to see it. The other thing that was cool this year, apparently they had like a chicken like caviar box or something. It was like $100. You could have like chicken wings with caviar or something. Really cool. Yeah, we love to see that.
I love to see like rich people cosplaying as poor.
Yeah, me too.
But only in moderation.
Yes, exactly. And this might actually be a situation of poor people going.
The honeydew is right there.
So I was like, well, let's look into how much honeydew goes into this. So like, you start plugging your ears. So we have stats from last year, right? We don't have it so far this year. Last year they sold over 500,000 cocktails in total. And since they've debuted, it's 8.4 million honeydew balls. So, like 8.4 million honeydew balls have been eaten, regardless of what you hope is happening. And they
talk about return reverse logistics. All of the grocery stores are sending all of their unsold honeydew melons to the U.S. Open.
It's a beautiful cocktail if you look at it. Honestly, I feel like if you had to like make a cheap one, get like raspberry, like cherry Sprite, the one that's like red or whatever, and then just like throw it in with some vodka and like throw a couple honeydew slices in there. But regardless of how my poor self would make it, it's actually always come from the same farm. So it's a company called Turlock Fruit Company. They're out of Turlock, California. Ever since, I think it's about over 20 years this has been around, and they've always been the suppliers for it. And I want to say where is this? I have the number on here. It was quite a lot. There it is. They roughly a few truckloads of melons, well over 100,000 melons goes to this every single year. And I want to say, where is this? I had a good number on here.
I thought that was interesting with the Deuce term, because obviously it comes from tennis to describe a 40-40 tie score.
Yep. And then, they're all refrigerated trucks, of course, kept at 44 degrees. Takes about 4 days. They go to what's called Balder Specialty Foods. It's in the Bronx. And then from there, they're shipped over to the U.S. Open. I'm sure. At Balder facility is where they actually turn them into the melon bowls. And then they ship them over for the U.S. Open. So, I think it's cool. I think that's a lot of melons. Apparently they didn't even know like who was supplying all these until like a couple of years ago. They just all, they buy it from Balder, so they don't know actually comes from Turlock. But yeah, Turlock has been the go-to for Balder for years now, and I'm sure they love when that account pays that bill every single year. They look forward to every end of August so that they can get those balls moving. But yeah, they all come from California. Not too surprised by that, melon-wise. But I did find it interesting though that melon that it just comes from all one supplier, because I mean, I don't know what that farm's mix of clients is, but I hope it's not one, because if they ever decide to leave, then we have what I would call a sriracha issue, where the company is going to go quickly out of business at the end of the day. So hopefully the melon balls will never become a sriracha story part two.
I do wonder too, because this reminds me a lot. We have the Players here in North Florida, and they have this drink called the Sawgrass Splash, which is kind of like almost like a screwdriver, but better. So there's a little bit of like lime juice in it. It's not as like orange juice heavy as a screwdriver. I love this drink.
Actually,
but they have that's what, looking at like the US Open Cup, and like a signature drink. I wonder if this is like more of a trend with like sporting events where they have these like specialty drinks that you can only get there, and it's like kind of like
the Derby has one, right? That the Moscow Mule, right? Isn't that
it's the mint julep.
Mint julep, that's right.
Yeah, so a mint julep, even though I don't really like mint juleps. But yes, that's another drink that's been around for a long time. So maybe to your point, some of these sports tournaments are taking a page out of the Derby handbook and making their own like signature drink and signature cups, which kind of creates like a collectible vibe around it. Because I don't know if the US Open does this, but like on the Sawgrass Splash cups, they usually have a list of all of the previous winners on the cup itself, and so it makes like a cool little like collector item too.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool, and I kind of hate tennis, but I don't like a sport I can't cheer at. First off, rude. Like, I'm going to scream. That's why I like football, because you get to yell at people that are doing something you can never do.
Yeah.
But you're telling me I have to quietly watch people do something I can probably?
No, I want to boo and I want to smash the seats to, I want to cheer on defense.
I want to high five my neighbors. I want camaraderie. I want to, exactly. I want to cuss out the team that decided to sit next to me when I'm like
the Waste Management Open. Like we just want to heckle people. Exactly. Let us get it out of our system. Yes. Be good for our mental health.
Yeah, and so you're going to tell me I have to go to an event that has a famous cocktail and then I have to drink 3 of those and stay quiet the whole time in New York City? I hate it.
Now that I think about it, that is interesting that they source it all from, or they source most of these products from California when the event is held in New York. I don't know. I would just think that maybe like the South has some farms or something. The Midwest has some farms that they could source it from to save on some transportation costs.
Maybe there's a broker out there right now. Hey, broker, here's an idea. Call Baylor Foods, say, hey, one supplier. That doesn't sound right.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, it sounds expensive. I bet your freight's crazy.
Especially working out of California. Like,
wouldn't it be great if we could diversify out of Florida?
The great free state of Florida, like the whole branding route.
Honestly, whoever is working for the U.S. Open, this is a supply chain tragedy that you don't even realize is happening, and we could save your cost.
No, we're trying to help you out in this process.
Copy Robot, get on it. Start making phone calls.
With your agents making the phone calls.
That would be really funny if we like redid the video of Happy Robot, but like in a conversation of like, we're spending too much money on melon balls. We need this app. Where can we get more melon balls? And they're like, well, we can't get the boat there on time. And then he calls the driver. He's like, oh, is that why I'm stuck in traffic? I'm an idiot. I didn't look up the traffic. Well, a driver. I guess I won't make it.
Well, I mean, folks, the show has officially come full circle. For full melon ball, for lack of a better phrase. I think our brains are done.
Totally. Yeah. If the audience knew when we started this and when we ended this.
2:45 is when we started talking. And then it's now 6:23 as when we're rounding out this conversation. So if we're sounding a little giggly and we're sounding a little all over the place, that's because we are. Our brains are done, and so we're gonna leave it there.
Yes.
And Grace, what you got? Where do we? Oh God.
What do I have going on?
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, you can find me on web pages. Use your chat GPT, just say, who is Grace Sharkey? And actually, I wonder what it would say. And hopefully it sends you to me. I'm at Orderful. If you have questions about your EDI strategies, reach out to us. Let us know. Our podcast is up and running, so you guys can check out those episodes too. Eric was our first episode, did really well. We have a couple more for this month and some fun stuff into next month too. And yeah, excited to jump into the last quarter of the year.
Hell yeah. Hopefully it's things are starting to maybe rock bottom has been hit.
I don't know.
Let's hope so. That's all we can do at this point.
Listen, around this time every year I say, I think the market's going to go up next year. So maybe I'll be right. Maybe I'll be wrong.
What does they say? 60% of the time, it's right every time. Like something like that. Yeah. So that's where we're going to leave it, folks. This has been another edition of Freight Friends on Everything is Logistics. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out our playlist over on YouTube if you want to catch past episodes. Yeah, but that about does it. You can catch more of this work over on everythingislogistics.com. And yeah, we're out of here. See ya.